that is the model. And again, it all has to do with the composition of the 3 or 4 or 9 layers of the ectochrome film and the tendency of the blue layer, which is on top, to faintly record what's hanging in the sky. Now, we went to Goddard, the Goddard Space Flight Center, after Ken gave us this material. We took a team of 9 people, some of whom are actually here this morning. We spent 2 days at the Goddard Space Flight Center at the National Space Science Data Center, which is the official archive of all of NASA's photography. And we tried to duplicate, we tried to confirm, based on Ken's secret stash, that other parts of the Apollo record, which had not been destroyed, this information had made it through the chain of generations. Now, the reason we thought we could do this is because even though you take a negative into a darkroom and you make a print, and to your eye it looks like, you got landscape and the sky is black, in fact, the film will record what's in that sky. And if you have sensitive digital computer scanner technology, 21st century technology now, back then it was 20th century, you can literally bring up the gain and see the details in the sky that you're not supposed to see. So we spent 2 days, this is with me and Dr. King, who's the head of the lab. I'm showing him some of the things that we had found on prints that we had ordered from LRL, from the Lunar and Planetary Lab, from Houston, and from his own shop there at the NSSDC. And he was very impressed and did absolutely nothing. In fact, a set of negatives we were specifically looking for from Apollo 10, between the first day and the second day, they had to admit to us that they had disappeared. Someone yanked those negatives, so I could not confirm what I had been able to order through prints in previous months. So someone was looking at us following this trail even then, which was what, 12 years ago? As part of this sojourn, we showed them this print. We showed them this amazing, look at the regular vertical and horizontal bracing. That will come into importance later. We did find, years later, on the web, as NASA has begun to scan, as people in NASA have begun to scan what they claim are source data from the original copies of the film that have been preserved, that Ken was not to destroy, but to put into the freezers. Literally, the film has to be frozen to keep it from changing. They have been scanning and putting on the web modern versions of the same Apollo 14 photography. So we got hold a few months ago of one of these scanned versions. This is the same frame. Let me go back one, all right? This is frame 9301 from Ken. This is 9301 from NASA. And this, if I'm right, is a comparison. And you'll notice that this is a much lower generation, or higher generation rather. This has been copied and copied and copied. The detail is all lost, but the main layering, the main glass tower, which you can see in the background, is still there. So when I said in our press releases before this briefing that we can now confirm from NASA data on official NASA websites what is there, I was not kidding. It is confirmed. Now, what I'm hoping to do, through whatever you write, whatever Congress decides to do, whatever the American people decide to do, I'm hoping to pressure the system so we get access to the original data. And we have that original data taken from the freezers and scanned with modern scanner technology at the best resolution available. And if we can get that to happen, and if you can track that process, kind of like a legal chain of custody, so we don't allow them to substitute fake film for the real film, I have no doubt now that we will confirm everything that Dr. Johnston has reported, and then some. Because there are confirmed duplicates now on the web, on NASA sites, of what Ken preserved 40 years ago. This is another frame. This I found just a few months ago. Alan Shepard, if you go back and look, he was standing to the front of the LEM when he took this picture with Mitchell putting up the TV camera. By the way, Ed Mitchell claims not to have seen anything. I don't think necessarily he is lying. We have evidence that the astronauts, in fact, have had their memories, how should we say? Adjusted. Altered, changed, modified, and there was a consistent pattern of their own testimony where they cannot remember, and they're really disturbed by this, they cannot remember what it felt like to be on the moon. Not just one, not just two, but almost all of the astronauts in various ways over the years have reported this difficulty in remembering what it was like to be on the moon. They can remember what they did. They can remember their flight plan, their timeline, their procedures, what was basically their tasks. They can't remember what it felt like.